Hi, welcome to Business Growth, Unit 1, Section 6. So our learning objectives today is looking at different methods of growth, internal versus external. The advantages and disadvantages of operating a franchisor and franchisee has been taken out for this year. Okay, we're looking at the most appropriate different methods of growth for different businesses and the reason why some businesses stay small. The slides on franchise will still stay up, but I will move along to the next slides. Our key terms that we need to make sure that we know are things like economies of scale, e-commerce, outsourcing, mergers, takeovers, horizontal, vertical, what backward vertical means, conglomerate integration. So we need to make sure that we know and we have a good command of these terms. Okay, so why do businesses want to grow? What reasons might? Okay, so it could be things like increasing profit, increasing market share, reducing the competition, securing the marketplace, securing supplies. Okay, so integrating with a firm in a previous sector of the economy. We'll look at that in a bit. Spread risk, so you've got different businesses in different markets. So if one market tanks, the other one's okay. And benefit from something called economies of scale, which is basically benefits that you get from becoming larger and reducing your average. So this goes into a little bit more detail about why businesses want to grow, and you can pause and have a read through these in a little bit more detail if you will. Okay, so we talked about economies of scale, but basically it's the benefits of becoming larger. Okay, so benefit from lower average cost, benefits from doing things like bulk buying, the fact that you can spread your costs over more output, okay, for your marketing, for your buying of machinery and so on. Okay, and these are some of the examples that you can benefit from economies of scale. So like I said, buying materials purchasing, bulk buying, be able to spread your cost of marketing, technology, okay, across different across an increased output, okay, and the fact that you're larger, you're more likely to have a lot more assets, so you're more likely to be able to benefit from borrowing money because you can put more collateral against. Okay, again, this goes into more detail of what these different economies of scale are. You can pause this and have a read through if you wish. Okay, so there's an example. Okay, again, feel free to pause this and have a scan through it. Okay, but here's an example that you look at. Okay, so how do businesses grow? Okay, so the first one is through internal growth. Okay, now that is generally done from within a business. Okay, so you sell more. Okay, you find new markets. Okay, either at home or abroad. You can find new markets by maybe repositioning your existing products. So the example I've used before is the way that Lucozade used to be an ill person's drink. Now it got remarketed as a sports drink. Okay, so they've gone into a new market. Okay, or you can sort of sell a different product in a different market. Okay, developing and launching new products and increasing how much advertising and how much you invested into your business. Okay, so this is all done within your business and within your organization. Okay, now there's a lot of advantages to this. Okay, there's generally the fact that there's less risk involved and you're doing it a lot more naturally. Okay, but the disadvantages is the fact that it generally happens a lot slower. Okay, and it does depend on how much you sell and how much you grow. Okay, so that is definitely, if you wanted to expand quickly, maybe organic growth or internal growth is not the one for you. Okay, now if we looked at external growth, we sometimes refer to it as integration. It can happen in two ways, okay, where you merge with another company or you take over another company. Okay, so a merger is where two businesses join together, tend to be of a similar size, and then a takeover is generally where you buy another one. Now, usually this is a large business taking over a smaller. Okay, external growth is good because it's a lot quicker. Okay, market share can be increased a lot quicker, and competition can decrease. Okay, because you're basically taking over a rival. However, disadvantages. Okay, it's generally a lot more expensive, and you're taking a lot more risks. Okay, and the fact that really you're having two cultures sort of come together and join together, and maybe they don't mesh and aren't going to work together well. Okay, so if we look at a different growth model, okay, this is sort of one of the most important ones. So if we concentrate, if you have a look at the box where it says Nescafe, Okay. Now Nescafe, if it wanted to expand, okay, and take over a rival, what it could do is could take over Kenco, which is another coffee-based company, okay, and refer to that as horizontal integration, okay, because it's within the same sector of the economy. So if we look, okay, if you have a look at Coffee Farm, okay, that is in the primary sector, okay, so extracting raw materials. Nescafe, okay, is in the secondary sector, the manufacturing sector, or the transforming raw material sector, okay, and then you've got Costa coffee shops, which are in the tertiary sector, so the service retail side of things, okay. Now, Nescafe and Kenco are in the same industry and in the same sector, so we call that horizontal, okay, because it was within the same sector. But then if we look at Nescafe taking over a coffee farm, okay, now we do this to sort of guarantee sort of cheap supplies from the coffee farm. We refer to that as backwards vertical because we're going from secondary to primary. Okay, then we look at Nescafe could take over Costa coffee shops, so they know they've got a retail outlet that is going to sell their goods and guarantee to buy from them. We refer to this as forwards vertical. Now, all these are within the same industry, same coffee industry, but are in different sectors. Now, what some large sort of companies do is they own different businesses in different industries and in different sectors, and these are to spread risks. So let's say overnight there's a report that comes out and says that coffee is bad for you, okay, so everyone stops buying coffee, okay. Well, if the owners had diversified, okay, and had a few different firms in different industries, so like that example is, you know, they take over H&M, but if people stop drinking coffee, people are still going to buy clothes from H&M. So that's what we refer to as conglomerate integration. Okay. So again, you can pause through these slides and have a look at it and read in more detail. Okay, but it basically just recaps what I've. Okay, we're going to quickly just go through these franchising slides because don't have to cover it for this year. Okay, so I'm not going to go through it. Okay, some businesses choose to remain small, and this ties in a little bit with some of the business ownership that we've done before, okay? Simply because once you start to grow larger, okay, the element of risk, the element of losing control, it becomes more difficult to manage, takes up a lot more time, and it might not fit in with your lifestyle, okay? So that's why some businesses choose to remain small. That's why some kebab houses or burger places have only got one place because they don't want to have the responsibility of having multiple kebab houses and multiple burger places all across the region that they have to manage, and it becomes much more difficult to control and takes over your life. Okay, some entrepreneurs run and open businesses so it fits in with the lifestyle that they have and the family life that they want, for example. Okay, so again, markets expansion is risky. Okay, maybe they don't have the money to invest. Okay, and some industries it's difficult to compete with large businesses. Let's say that you want to now sell aeroplanes. Well, it's going to be difficult for you to compete with Airbus and Boeing, so it's quite difficult for you to compete with them. Okay. Some businesses work in a market where expansion is going to be difficult. Okay, so let's say you open a shop that sells archery gear. Well, there's only a certain amount that you're going to be able to sell, so it's limited, isn't it? Okay,